What is up, YouTube? We are back and we are finally here at the UFC Whitehouse card. I feel like this build up has gone so quickly, and as you guys can tell, Dana White has done little to no promotion for this card, but I am very excited. Let's start with what the hell? The UFC website's messing up. Let's start with Diego Lopez and Steve Garcia. So we're going to run through the whole card today. Start off with the early prelims, end with the main event. Well, it's not early prelims. Start with the first fight on the night and end with the main event. If you guys have what are your thoughts on this? What fight you're most looking forward to? Please put down in the comments. And if you got any video suggestions or anything like that, please put down in the comments. But like I said, let's start with Diego Lopez and Steve Garcia. This fight is I'm really excited about this, but I do have the same type of idea coming into this fight. I feel like Diego Lopez is like the third best featherweight on the planet. I think you've got Volk, you've got Mosvar, and then those two are the best, and then we have Diego Lopez there, and I just feel like he's gonna beat every kind of up and coming prospect coming in to the featherweight division. I guess going too fast here, moving on to my actual pick, but I think as we can see, like Diego Lopez, he's always been spending his past few camps wrestling with that Oklahoma wrestling team. We know what Diego Lopez is like in the pocket. He's got those beautiful boxing combinations and he's powerful. But one thing I thought about this fight was like if we look back to his Gene Silver fight where he was clearly getting outstruck on the feet. And again, somebody who's got that clean type of striking, whereas we got Volk, we got Gene Silver, and I think Steve Garcia falls into that. He does seem to struggle, and he just creates chaos, and but that's how he wins. But with this fight, I can just see him using his grappling, and like we saw in that Gene Silver fight, once he gets on top of you, his ground and pound is really good. He opens up with those really heavy 12 to 6 elbows. But looking at Steve Garcia, he's on a good win streak. He hits like a truck. He's got really nice, smooth looking boxing, and he's fought some decent competition. But it's just looking back, he lost to Chase Hooper in the UFC and things like that. But I really do think Diego Lopez is just that level above every other featherweight on the planet. He's a massive featherweight. I know he's coming in here saying he's 5'11" compared to 6 foot, but I just think he's just such an explosive featherweight that I just see him getting the win here. Where I think Steve Garcia can do really well, he lands this straight left to the body really nicely. He's got really smooth boxing combinations, and he doesn't necessarily overextend too much for Diego Lopez to counter too much. But I do see the clear massive advantage is in the grappling. I think Diego Lopez, he's definitely working on his wrestling, as we can see where he's in a lot of the videos and things like that he puts on YouTube. He's trained heavily with the college wrestling team. His grappling is already next level. I just think that's where he's going to kind of piece together Steve Garcia. I think he's going to do a similar game plan in terms of with the Gene Silver fight, whereas if he can catch a kick early or some sort of body lock takedown, he'll take him down, he'll win that first round with his ground and pound, throw a few submission attempts. Whether he gets it or not, I'm not sure. I don't think so. But then I think as we come into the second and third round, that's where kind of all shit just hits the fan, and I think Diego Lopez will start to break him down there. But I am predicting a second round finish on the ground, whether that's via ground and pound or a submission. I feel like I am leaning more towards a submission, but that is my plan. And I think he is a favourite for a reason. They've put on this fight just because it's the stylistic matchups, but I do think Diego Lopez is miles better, and I think he is going to get the win here. But moving on, so I don't know why this is so messed up, but let's move over to Tapology and look at it. But Bo Nickel versus Kyle Dorcas. This is the one fight which I just do not think should be on the card. It's just classic UFC just hyping up Bo Nickel. I think it would have been so good to get one of the welterweight top contenders on here. Imagine we had maybe an Usman Morales, or we had that Usman Derrida on here. I just think we could have worked with so many much more excitable fights and save Bo Nickel for okay, fair enough, you want to put him on the main card or whatever. Why don't we should have saved that for the McGregor card? and International Fight Week and save this spot for somebody, for some more highly ranked contender. This is like, if we look at through the card, every single fight on this card is between rank contenders, and they're pretty decently ranked contenders. Apart from what Lewis and Hokit, they're still pretty high up. But I just think this card is just, it's got no place being here on this card. But we will look into it. So obviously we know Dorcas he had that rough first stint in the UFC, and he's come back, and now he's had 2 finishes. Okay, one of them was GM3, but he is a good striker. I think he is a good fighter. I just think Bo Nickel is only going to lose to those top ranked middleweights, those middleweights who are better than those out of the rankings kind of contenders. And I just think they know what they're doing with Bo Nickel here. They've set him up to win. I think he's going to go back to his grappling routes. I think I can see a first round submission. I'm going to first round rear naked choke. I think he's going to put the pressure on Dorcas early. He's going to shoot in. He's going to take him down. As Dorcas is getting back up, he's going to take the back and he's going to choke him. I think this is a really easy fight for Bo Nickel. And I think if he doesn't win this, well, he should win this. And they're doing this on purpose. Dorcas has got good striking. He submitted GM3. He submitted the great GM3. But I just think the UFC they've done this stylistically to favour Bo Nickel. Sorry guys, I'm ill. But yeah, so I feel like there's not really much else to say on this. We've seen some major improvements in Bo Nickel since he lost his striking. Head kicked Rodolfo Vieira, which was really cool. But we know that they're going to give him favourable contender matchups. Okay, RDR was not that, but they really are going to push him to the top. And they know what they're doing here with Cal Dorcas. But imagine we could see Dorcas come out and get that first round finish, put the pressure on, he throw some hands and knock out Bo Nickel, but I really highly doubt it. I am going to go with a Bo Nickel first round finish, rear naked choke. And I think a lot of the fighters are going to come out here pushing for this, pushing for a finish, pushing for a good performance, because obviously there's that massive crypto bonus on the line and things like that, and such a big stage. But I wonder how there's not going to be much momentum from the crowd, obviously, because there's not really going to be many people in there. So I wonder how that is going to play into it. But one of my locks of the card, I think this is probably the lock of the card for me. Rufi versus Chandler. Let's move back over to the UFC website. I prefer this one. So Rufi versus Chandler. I think the fact that I saw in a Michael Chandler interview that it was supposed to be BSD in this fight, wow, that would have been cool. I think I would have preferred. I think that would have been a funner matchup. But Rufi versus Chandler, I think this is going to be a classic Michael Chandler fight, in a sense where he's going to come out and he's going to bum rush Rufi in the first round. I think he's going to do all of his explosive takedowns. He's going to pick up Rufi. He's going to carry him around the octagon. He's going to slam him. He's going to do all of this. And then he's still just going to come out in the second round and get chinned. So, yeah, he's going to come out. He's going to waste his energy. He's going to do some big takedowns. What I really like from Rufi here is the things he throws up the middle, that straight right, how elusive he is on the feet. I'd love to see him throw some knees and things like that, like Paddy did, to catch Chandler coming in. Because Chandler does telegraph things quite a lot. He's quite ploddy. I'd love to see Rufi throw some nice, just use his length, use his teeps, use his leg kicks, and just keep Chandler at bay and just try and survive that first round onslaught that Chandler's going to come out. Because I think you know what he's like. He's like, I'm an All-American, all of this fucking bullshit. So I think just let him come out and have his moment in the first round, and then in the second, I think Rufi's going to chin him. I think now he's moved over to Volk's team and things like that. I think that more game plan side of things, that's smarter fighting, is going to come out. And my prediction is we're going to see Rufi lose the first round. Chandler's going to be on his back, trying a few sub attempts. Rufi's going to keep his cool, keep calm, and survive it. Probably similar to the Prates Edwards fight. I could see something really similar like that happening. Not so much where the finish happened when they were both quite static in the center. But I think the finish more so comes from as Chandler rushes in, we're just going to see Rufi just place a right hand on his chin and just drop him. And I think it's going to be one of those where we see like a barrage of knockdowns from Rufi until the ref just eventually says, oh, okay, yeah, Chandler's finally dead. I'm going to call it there. But I'm predicting it's going to be multiple knockdowns of Chandler rushing in, because you know what he does? He does that big two hook combo where he throws the right and then he comes over with the left, or the other way around. It's that stupid that stupid wrestling overhand combo kind of thing. And I think Rufi's just going to be all over it. He's too slick on the feet. And Chandler, he's got the wrestling, but he hasn't got the grappling like people like BSD or Paddy or someone like that to just come out there and sub Rufi in one. And obviously with him working with Volk improvements and things like that. But yeah, this is my lock of the card. I'm going Rufi round 2 KO. But I think this is going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be great, especially just the way that they're going to come out. I think Chandler's just going to come out and be fucking balls to the walls, as he usually is. So yeah, that's my prediction. Rufi round 2 KO. Next, probably one of the more... Just how the hell have we got here? But I guess, yeah. Josh Hokit versus Derek Lewis. So yeah, I think everybody's on the same page here where Hokit's going to win, probably by round 1, round 2 finish. I think as we can all expect how this is going to go, Lewis has only got one chance, and that's landing a lucky one-shot KO blow. But we did see that Hokit has got a chin. He took some damage from Curtis Blades. However, that is the one thing that I'm worried about. This is why this is not my lock of the card. He went through a war, and that was only a few months ago, earlier this year. He accepted the fight in an ambulance. If that's not as someone whose chin is not fully recovered, I don't know what is. And there's no worse person to get hit with when your chin is like that than Derek Lewis. But I still think he's going to win. I just think the chances, the reason why it's not like the lock of the card is just because the chances of Derek Lewis landing on Hokit and just putting him to sleep in one is just there. It's not as much as Chandler and Rufi, but I think we can come out and we're going to see Josh Hokit I think he's going to take him down quickly. I think he's going to take him down and just make Derek Lewis work. He's just going to keep on letting him get back up just to take him down again. We know he's got the wrestling credentials to do it. We know he can do it. We saw what Derek Lewis was like in his last fight against Acosta. It was just embarrassing. So yeah, I just think by 3 minutes in, Derek Lewis has thrown a few massive right hands and none of them are hit. He's going to give up, and I just see Hokit kind of putting on the pressure. I could see a body shot TKO where Derek Lewis has just pretty much given up, and Hokit is just pressuring him, pushing him back against the cage, and he's just going to throw like a nice little hook to the body, and Derek Lewis will give up in classic Derek Lewis fashion. Just goes, yeah, I've had enough, one last hit, and he just falls over, and then you can literally just won't even try to defend himself. He'll just cover up and lie on the floor. And I don't see that being any different on the White House lawn. So it's crazy how Trump has called him up, all for just to... wanted him on the card just to see a fat guy die. But yeah, no, I think Josh Hokit is just... he's a really good heavyweight. I think he's going to go up in terms of like the rankings all the way up to those like top 3. Whereas like I would love to see him against how he deal with the height of Volkov. I'd love to see him. I think they have already like called each other out and things like that. But Hokit versus Pavlovich should be the new number 1 contender fight after this, if Hokit wins. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of a hold-up in the heavyweight division with the fight later on, and then that needs to be unified with Aspinall. So I think this is the perfect time for Hokit to have a fight with Lewis, whoop his ass, take a bit of time off, get a fight booked in with Pavlovich, maybe on the undercard of the undisputed title fight between Aspinall and who I think will be Pereira. And then, yeah, cement themselves as the clear number 1 contender to go back for the belt. But yeah, so round 1, TKO, body shot, Josh Hokit. Moving on. Wow, I think this is going to be a cracking fight. I think this is going to be my fight of the night, just because how durable Zahabi is. So I think we know that with O'Malley, that his striking is just no one. He's the best striker in the bantamweight division, bar what Peter Yan. Zahabi ain't gonna beat him in that department. Grappling, Zahabi ain't the biggest grappler. O'Malley, yeah, we know what he's like. He's got a guillotine that he pulled off on a few grappling competitions with that UFC quintet. But apart from that, his grappling just is not on that level. I think we can see O'Malley coming out and have a classic O'Malley round one where it's quite nothing too much goes on. He's kind of just throwing his teeps, doing a few little stutter steps and pretending to dribble a basketball and things like that. I don't think too much happens in round one. I do think O'Malley takes round one. And I think in round two is where Zahabi's just going to start to just dog out, and he's going to realise he's going to have to kind of enter, I don't want to use the Mighty Mouse word, but he's going to have to enter the void to start hitting some shots on O'Malley. But I think in round two is where we just see Zahabi start to pressure him more and more and more, and O'Malley just starts to pick him off. And once O'Malley gets his momentum going, starts hitting that flow state, I can really see him just absolutely laying it on Zahabi. And I just don't think he can finish him, because we saw what happened with Jose Aldo, who pretty much soccer kicked him and he survived that, and the way that him and Cheeto went back and forth. But I just think when somebody's going to a split decision with Cheeto where Cheeto should have won, your striking is not on that level of O'Malley's. So I am going to go with O'Malley, but I think it's going to be a war between the two of them, especially in the second and third. But my thing is if Zahabi starts shooting, my one advice, O'Malley, you're not going to watch this video, but don't pull no stupid guillotines like you did against Song Yadong. You did 2 or 3 guillotine attempts and you're just not going to get them. Just give up on it. Just stop trying to pull a guillotine and just get yourself back up instantly. Because you see, he does the same thing. He pulls his guillotine, he tries to get it, tries to readjust, and then he just lays on his back, and then takes age to get back up. Just have that sense of urgency, so as soon as you land, you're just straight trying to get your hips back underneath you. You're trying to build yourself back up. Use the cage, like classic Jose Aldo, when he'd get taken down, he'd be popped straight back up. But I am going to go with a Sean O'Malley decision. I don't think he's going to finish Zahabi, but I think he's going to win a 29-28 decision where he might lose a round just because Zahabi takes him down and the judges are stupid and you get one takedown, you won a round. But I'd love to see Sean just keep up with his classic, his knees up the middle, that he splits people open with those knees like he did to Peter Yan, what he did to Cheetah with those knees. Just constantly keep throwing those knees. I'd love to keep up with your teeps and just keeping Zahabi at distance and not letting him get close, because the height and the reach, obviously O'Malley's always going to have the advantage. But man, I really do think this is going to be I think these two are going to dog it out in the second and the third. I think we're going to be in for a really good fight. This is the one fight which I think will go the distance. The rest of them I can actually see finishes happening. This is the fight I see really going the distance. But if O'Malley really wants to get a title shot, he has to get a finish here. And I think if he pulls his stupid guillotines and things like that, he ain't going to get it. But yeah, this one is probably one of my... okay, I know everybody would have wanted this to be against Corey Sandhagen, but I just do feel like that would have been a storm. You guys can let me know in the comments. I just feel like it'd be one of them where they both just... It's just going to be a fainting match, pretty much. They're just going to be fainting back and forth at each other for 15 minutes. And I feel like this one, with Zahabi being a little less intelligent compared to Sandhagen, I think he's going to come in and he's going to bring the fight to O'Malley, because I feel like O'Malley's the type of guy where if you don't bring the fight to him, he'll happily just have a kickboxing point match with you. So, yeah, I think it's a great fight, and I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, O'Malley decision 29-28, wins via damage, cuts open Zahabi. Moving on. Wow, this one I've actually been so stuck. I've been watching so many videos. I've been watching all the breakdowns that Dustin Poirier and Jorge Masvidal have been doing, and they're just chatting absolute waffle. This one is just such a hard one to predict. I just think I'm pretty sure let's have a look. Let's have a look at the odds. I'm pretty sure they're even. It literally is even odds. I think Garn only finishes people by hitting them to the back of the head whilst he's in like a flurry. He doesn't have that one shot shut off power. Like if you look at his like Tuivasa finishes, is the Tuivasa finish, the Derek Lewis finish, all of the ones earlier on, Spivak and things like that. It's all just combinations against the fence where he kind of finishes you there. He throws you a couple back of the head shots while it's just for some good measure, like he did with the Junior Dos Santos fight, where he literally elbowed him in the back of the head. And then, whereas Pereira, he's gonna shut your. He's got that stunning, thudding kind of knockout power where he will just knock you out and in an instant. But he kind of sets it like one thing I noticed he can't let off his leg kicks as well against a southpaw compared to an orthodox. So with the fact that Cyril Gane can switch his stances so much, I'd love to see whether he kind of focuses more on a southpaw kind of stance, because we saw that in the Ankalaev fight. But then in the second one, Pereira just thumped the left one until he ended up switching stances. He thumped the lead leg, and then once he switched to orthodox, just chinned him from there. But Pereira's just nowhere near as fast moving laterally compared to Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane just won't stop moving. His jab as well is more of like a jab to keep you in a. His jab isn't really for damage. His jab is more so to just keep you at a certain distance, keep you at bay. And that's really it. It doesn't really do, like we saw that with the Aspinall one. Okay, yes, his nose started bleeding, but so does everybody's. Literally, I get my nose tapped on in training and things like that, and my nose looks like I've been in a car crash. So I don't believe any of that crap. I just think that Pereira's really going to have to pressure him. He's going to have to push Cyril Gane back and kind of take things into the later rounds in terms of, so when Gane is not as fast moving laterally, maybe in the third or the fourth round, where he can kind of track him down and hit him with that left hook. But I am leaning towards Pereira just in terms of like momentum, how he's pushing for that third belt at the Whitehouse. We know he doesn't crumble under these like big pressures. He headlined UFC 300, no problem. Whereas Cyril Gane, we've seen him when it comes to big moments. Ngannou, John Jones, he doesn't really perform as well. Whereas if it's against some unranked or some lower ranked heavyweight, he absolutely schools on him. So I think the moment Pereira can handle much better. In terms of like maybe if the outdoor conditions actually do matter, I feel like Pereira is somebody who can kind of work with it, whereas Cyril Gane I feel like he's more of like a perfect type, pretty type of fighter. So once things start going wrong, he can't really perform as well. I know that's a bit of like a hunch or whatever, or just like a random thing to look at, but it is true. Cyril Gane's not somebody he doesn't strike me as somebody who can handle those more pressured situations like Pereira. I think Gane's keys to victory is a decision. I don't think he's got the grappling. I can't see him coming in and trying to grapple Pereira. I think Pereira comes from a better camp in terms of training with Glover. Even Pereira might come in and start. I'd love to see Pereira come in and just take Gane down, tire him out for the first or second round and see what happens. But then it's also looking at the fact that is Pereira going to be as mobile, and does he have the cardio and things like that, because he is going to be a heavier, he's not going to be cutting as much weight, he's going to be heavy, carrying more weight. But I feel like there's so many things with this fight, and you can go back and forth and we can look at all the different aspects, but if anyone's going to come out and finish the fight, it's going to be Pereira. And in these stage, and like Cyril Gane, he's used to fighting those blobby heavyweights where he can mess up and things like that, and his things doesn't have to be as perfect or his footwork. Whereas if you make a mistake against Pereira, you are most likely getting chinned. So yeah, I'm leaning towards Alex Pereira, knockout, TKO, maybe towards the back end of the fight, 3, 4, and 5 round, fifth round, third, fourth, and fifth round. I think an early round KO is not going to happen because Garn is too mobile. He moves too well. He's going to be fresh, but yeah, I just wonder if Pereira can take those heavyweight hits. I feel like with him not cutting as much weight, he really will be able to take those hits. But yeah, otherwise I'm gonna go back and forth all day. I'm gonna lean towards Pereira, but please in the comments let me know, guys, what do you think? I think this one can be debated so much from all the different aspects. So yeah. Finally, moving on to the official murder scene. Oh my God, Justin Gaethje's gonna die. He really is gonna die. I think all the arguments that you can be like with, oh, Justin Gaethje's leg kicks. Yes, Topuria is a lot more flat-footed and he's on that lead leg a lot, but he just moves in and out the pocket and this space so well that I think he's going to prepare for this well enough where he's coming in, he's landing one or two shots and he's coming down completely out of that leg kick range. I think you can also look at it from if Gaethje tries to throw whilst Topuria's mid-combo. So we know that Topuria throws those 3, 4, 5 punch combinations. If Gaethje can land his signature uppercut left hook within that exchange, can he drop Topuria? Because we saw from the Jai Herbert fight, he only got dropped because he was pressuring in to throw those 2 hooks. That double hook combination. I don't think Gaethje, I think you're hearing other people saying about, oh, he's susceptible to head kicks and things like that. I think Topuria is the type of guy that once he got hit with that, he really nipped that tendency in the bud and he got rid of that issue. I think you can look at, the only thing that Gaethje has is like, and if anybody says that punch, he's got that knockout power, the last person he knocked out was like bloody Donald Cerrone or something like that. So I don't want to hear any of that. Yes, Gaethje has got power, and yes, he's got hands, but he hasn't got this like godly power that people talk about. Like, oh, he can knock anybody out. I'll believe it when I see it. And if you're knocking out James Vick and Donald Cerrone and things like that, okay, whatever. I don't believe it. Okay, you head kick Dustin Poirier, fair enough. But I don't know. Maybe he's just fought people with great chins, but if you look at his fights like Fiziev and things like that, I think Topuria comes in and just chins Fiziev easily. So yeah, I'm just trying to find ways to win for Justin Gaethje, and I'm really struggling to see it. You see people say, oh, he's got to make it a dog fight. If you do that, Topuria is just going to pick you apart. And let's not forget, if it does get like that, Topuria can just take him down and submit him, because he's just such a good grappler. But I will say, Gaethje's got that strong front headlock system that he did. We really saw that come out against Paddy, where he just constantly pinned his opponent down from that front headlock situation. He didn't really threaten much submissions, but just kind of winning the round in terms of the judge's perspective. He did a really good job of that. But I just think Ilia's too clean, he's too sharp, he's too powerful. And he's the best in the world right now. I think he needs to go against someone like Islam, or somebody who can kind of outmatch him in some sort of like physical attributes to really beat him. Like, I think you've got to be one of those welterweight mutants like Michael Morales or Carlos Praes to knock out, to kind of get it over Ilia, because you're not going to beat him technically. You've got to have some sort of athletic advantage to get it over him. So yeah, I am going with probably everybody's prediction of what Topuria round 1 KO. I don't think it's going to be within the first 2 minutes. I think it's going to be towards the back end of the round. I think we can see him come out and start to put some combos together. I'd love to see Topuria go to the body early, but not overcommit on the body too much, because we know that Gaethje's got like a really good rear uppercut. So I think I'd love to see Topuria come out and in the first few minutes land leg kicks of his own, because we saw Michael Chandler landed leg kicks of him on Gaethje, and they were hurting him. So yeah, come out, land leg kicks. I'd love to see him put his combinations together, but not too much. Maybe keep it to 2-3 punch combos, throw in some body shots there. and just slowly work him down and pick him apart and try and kind of find out when he can enter safely. Ilia should not be getting involved in any sort of throwdown or anything like that. I'd love to see if he came out and did what he did against Holloway as well, where he got an early takedown and then kind of just didn't really try and hold it down too much. I'd love to see that just to get Gaethje thinking. But let's have a look at the significant strikes as well. But yeah, so he doesn't land as much per minute. But yeah, I just really love to see Tapoya come out and just approach this smartly and not think of all the hype of the Whitehouse and things like that. But then I have seen him come out in an interview saying he's not going to shoot at all, which I think he's silly to do that, not to do that. But yeah, I think if I was in his camp, I'd be like, Ilia needs to come out and put small combinations together just to kind of start to figure out when Gaethje tries to counter from them. Grapple a little bit, heavy on the leg kicks, heavy on the body shots, and just wait for that headshot to become available, because it will. Because he is sound defensively, but he is also just so off balance when he throws heavy. So I think I'd love to see more of a putting the pressure on and putting small combos together, but that counter style. So kind of putting a few combos together, exiting the pocket. Once Gaethje then throws, counter off of that. I think that'll be a really good approach. But man, I'm so excited for this, and I think I'm ready to see Gaethje get slimed out, because I think this is his time. I think he's kind of all the lightweight unks are just holding up the top of the division now. I think it is their time for them to go and just let the new contenders emerge and come out. You ruined Paddy title shot for me, and that's it now. I'm done with you, Gaethje. I'm ready to see you get absolutely slimed out. But yeah, no, that's the card, guys. Please let me know in the comments if you're going to be watching along. I don't know whether any of you guys are in the UK and you're going to be staying up on a Monday morning at 1 a.m. I know I'm going to be working from home that Monday, because I'm rolling out of bed at 10 to 9 because I am staying up to watch this. It's going to be at 1 a.m. start, so it's not too bad. But yeah, please let me know what your thoughts in the comments, what you guys are thinking, your predictions for the cards, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.